It's an amazing and commendable thing to see four ladies doing well for themselves in their career to come together to pull up a big project because it is indeed a good project and it's a commendable thing because it is indeed a commendable thing. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here we do basically movie reviews and give you all the gist going on in the industry. And to my new viewers, you are the real MVP. Thank you very much for coming up. Like, view, share, comment, click on the subscribe button, which is more important, so you get notified whenever we drop new and juicy content. Today we'll be doing the movie Gingerr, produced by the four ladies Bisola, Aiyeola, Kiki, Bukunmi, Adeaga, Ilori, Bolaji, Ogunmola, and Wumi, Toriola, of course. And it is going to be an amazing one. I promise to go straight to the point and give you the exact thing that you need to hear about this movie. So let's get right into it. Ice take heist become their only hope of escape from the life they know and the life they want to live. Four women with nothing to lose, brought together by fate, must take a stand. Bound by a shared vendetta, they join forces to pull off a daring heist. But the alliance is tested when each one reveals a hidden agenda to betray the other. Gingerr is an action drama film with a theme of family, love, and betrayal. It is directed by Yemi Filmboy Murafa. Honestly, I must commend the four ladies for bringing their A game. Not only the four ladies, but the whole cast and crew for bringing their A game to this production. One would tell the excellence that was the main domain of this production. Special shout out to Bisola Aiyeola. She's like the star of the show for me. But there's a way she mixes excellent with the comic character, and it was an endearing thing and an amazing thing to see. She's always been like that, and especially in the movies that she's been featuring of recent. But this particular one, there's just something special about how excellently she delivered her role. And shout out to Kiki. She gave us something different, which I really love. Out of the unserious kind of person that she's always been in every of the scene that she's been infused, there's a way she put up that serious on serious thing, because she was more or less the lead character of this film, but there's a way she did it in such a way that it was not boring as much as the director wanted us to be serious, but there's still some element of our natural and seriousness in it that made it an amazing thing. For Bolaji Ogunmola, I think she was in a comfort element, and there was nothing special that I would completely say that she brought in this film. Honestly, it is not a bad performance, but for a film that was co-produced by every one of them, it is expected that all of them should shine differently. But I would say there was nothing special that Bolaji Ogunmola brought to this film, as much as she gave a good performance. But then I feel like she should have done better in standing out and having a memorable performance. So as Wumi Toriola, everybody would expect that she was going to outshine everybody. But if as coupled with the fact that her late introduction, she was not introduced quickly as others were introduced, and that gave us a bit of a less expectation and a less enjoyment of our performance. Everybody would want to see how, for the lack of better word, how dominating our character is in each of our films. But this was less of it. But although there was a switch towards the end of the film where she had a moment which was nice. All the same, everybody had their moment, but Bolaji Ogunmola had less moments, which I feel should have been equal, if at all not equal. But everybody should have their moments autonomously that they shined. One of the best thing that I love about this film is the direction. Yemi Filmboy Murafa, who directed this movie, did a great job directing this movie, because do not get me wrong, simplicity is key, but I love the complexity of this film. It was well executed, as much as not everybody will enjoy the complexity, because most times when people go to the cinema, they want to just enjoy themselves, and I think most people go with different aims, because most people want to go like me now to get the complete details of every film, and most people just want to enjoy it. And I must tell you that a lot of people who want to get the details or the detailed version of every film will enjoy this film, because it was detailed in the aspect of the directing, but it was complex, and for anybody who just want to enjoy might not really completely enjoy this film because because of the complexity and the narration of the film, and awesome cinematography. For everything that was needed to be cinematic, it was very very cinematic because I was detailed in noticing the lighting, direction, and the different cinematic exploration of this film. Trust me, it was a good one. Most of the times that was needed to give the cinematic narration of every film, it was detailed. And to the sound department did awesomely well. Wherever there was supposed to be tension, it was properly tensed with the right music. I think for the sound department, I think there was no mishap in that particular part. And in the aspect of the dialogue, I feel the dialogue could be better, but it was not completely bad. Trust me, it was not completely bad. As much as there could have been more intensity in some dialogues, and there were a lot of tautology, especially from Shafi Bello, and it is very unusual, but I feel like probably she was left to do her thing. But as much as she was left to do her thing, I think it is right that the dialogue department should do better in, or should take control in the aspect, regardless of who is being brought to set. I think that is my opinion about the general crew and the cast. One of the major flaws that this movie has, and everybody in the cinema hall that watched with me had to say, was the rowdiness from the beginning to the end. As much as the director wanted the complexity, of which I love, but I feel like it was rowdy. Everybody was doing too much from beginning to the end. It was in the narration, it was very rowdy, and I think everybody was overdoing it, and it got a little bit tiring at a point. But a lot of people wanted a dimension which a lot of people did not get. I just feel like it is completely rowdy from beginning to the end, and a lot of setbacks from the characters, whereby they were on pressure to deliver, like they just want to deliver. And I could feel the pressure from everybody because it's a joint project, and they want the excellence. But as much as they wanted the excellence, I feel like the pressure was so evident in the delivery. Correlation of the title to the storyline. Gingerr. Everyone that went to the cinema would go with the expectation of wanting to see the dominance of the Gingerr in the storyline, I think. And they failed to establish the background of the girls, the connection of the girls, which everybody would comment about. Being a movie reviewer or not, I think everybody will still ask that question, that they should have established more on the connection of the girls and how Gingerr came to be. I think they just, one way or the other, whenever they were introduced, they just plainly talk about Gingerr. I think a preview or a backstory of how Gingerr came to be and how each of the girls met should have been properly emphasized, which was not. And it was surprising to me, because if they wanted to call the title of this movie Gingerr, I think a more emphasis should be made on how Gingerr came to be and how the girls came to know each other one way or the other. As much as the introduction was done, but it was not properly done. At some point, I feel the director didn't know where to land this film, because the last 5 scenes of this movie was overly exaggerated and few drags. I could tell from the last one scene or the last few scenes, the part where Kiki was just to get the right code to the box of gold. I feel like that was very very dragged, and it was just to get the complete timing to finish the film, which was very very unnecessary. It was just over exaggerated and dragged. As much as it was enjoyable to see for some people, I completely feel that was over exaggerated and completely dragged. Personally, I have problem with the casting because I think the casting was one-sided, and I could see through the perspective of Wumi Toriola in the casting. I don't know who owns the larger share of the budgeting of this film, but I could see the effect of Wumi Toriola in the casting, which I think should have been shared equally, but rather it was saturated by Wumi Toriola's effect. And I think it would have been better if the casting was the casting idea or the casting responsibility was shared equally amongst the 4 ladies. Gingerr is not a bad film, it is not a bad watch, but I would completely call it a great film because we were expecting more, especially from the delivery and from how it was hyped. I feel it should have been better in their delivery, especially from the lead role, but I must commend Bisola Aiyeola, who gave me an outstanding performance, and Wumi Toriola towards the end. But aside that, I think it was just a good watch, and for rating's sake, I rate it a 5.8 over 10. And I think that is a good rating, and I would recommend that you should watch it because it's an enjoyable one. It's going to entertain you. But for excellence, I will not completely call it an excellent film, but it was not a bad film. Whew. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to my existing viewers and to my new viewers. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, share, comment, and click on the subscribe button if you haven't, so you enjoy new movies and enjoy new content to come. I promise you it's going to be back-to-back content this time. So thank you very much. See you in my next video. Bye bye.